Hey, this will be a video chart on the S&P 500. Usually I've been doing the Dow Jones, but there are a lot of people that also follow the S&P. So I wanted to do this one, and that way people can kind of get an idea of what's going on both the markets. Both that being said, NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P, they all pretty much mimic one another. When one's having a green day, usually all the other ones are too. So their charts look a little bit different, but for the most part, they look pretty much the same in terms of patterns and stuff like that. So as you can see, since essentially here in early February, the markets have been just making a very powerful move upwards. Reminds me a lot of the move that it had back here, where we went through a couple months of a little miniature pullback here, and then after it broke out of it, it just roared to these new heights. Almost same thing now. We had this bigger pullback here, and now that it broke out right around that area, we're essentially pushing to new highs, and things are looking pretty good. So the uptrend continues, and despite this little pullback here, the bulls show that they remain in charge. The first thing that I want to point out, and probably the best thing about this chart, is the price is working its way, or working on pulling away from this key previous high area over here, which is basically right here at 1150. This had been an important resistance to get through, but it's been broken now, so this now becomes a support level for us. And what we ideally want to see happen now is for this level to hold strong in any sort of pullback. You can see that this red line here, which is the 20-day simple moving average, is now crossing up over it. So that's showing that the trend is pushing higher and supports are becoming stronger. The 10, this blue line's been above it for a while, but the more and more moving averages that get above this level, that just will solidify the strength of this particular support level. Now let's say for some reason we get a pullback and this level doesn't hold. Is that the end of the world? No, it's not. We do have the other important area right over here where we went to battle quite a bit at this point. Now the one thing to note about this level is, yes, it's a support, but this is the pretty much must hold one, as we'll call it. And the reason it's must hold is it's actually below the 50-day simple moving average now, which is this purple line here. So if we were to get closes below this level down here, that would imply that we're already closing below the 50-day moving average. And if you're familiar with charts, you know that closes below the 50-day are not a good thing. And if that's the case, then I personally think we would go down and give the 200-day moving average a test, which is this green line down here. But for the time being, we're up here, so that would take quite a bit of a fall for that to happen. But I just get questions, asking what are the support levels as we make our ways up. So the short answer to that would be right here at 1150. And then we have one right down here, which is essentially the same point as the 50-day simple moving average. And then after that, really, the 200-day. So those are going to be our support levels. The other thing I should have noted is if you see this number over here change, you're not seeing anything. The market is still open. We have about 25 minutes left before the close, but I felt comfortable enough just going ahead and doing this because I don't think there's going to be any sort of major change going into the close here. As far as resistance levels, what I'm going to do for this is go to the weekly chart, because as you can see when I scrunch it up, it'd just be easier to go to the weekly chart to find these things. So here is the weekly, and what we pretty much have here is the next resistance being at the 200-week simple moving average, which is this line right here. You can see it's currently valued at 1225. So for the time being, it's looking like we have a clear pathway to come up here and give this a test. I do think that probably the first try will get rejected, or maybe put in a wick or something like that, just because this will be, and usually is, a key resistance. But the good news with that is if we can get above it, that's just going to be a very big milestone for the markets, for the S&P, and really show that there's probably going to be another huge leg to the upside again, where the bulls are just going to keep pushing it higher, because A lot of people will be watching this break, and some people might go into cash thinking that this will be a resistance. But if it does get through and keep going, that cash is going to be put back to work into the market, and it's going to continue to push upward. So, this might not be for a couple more months before we get up here, but resistance-wise, nothing really until this level up here again at 1225. So I wouldn't be surprised to continue to see some more green candles getting put in here. But if anything, if you do get a pullback, these green lines are what we pointed out on the daily chart, and as long as those ones hold, then we'll be in good shape. So if there are any questions on the S&P or any of the other markets, please let me know. If not, I'd encourage you to check out bullwarriorstocks.com. If you go there and sign up for the free newsletter, you'll be sent a free ebook, which has been getting good reviews. And then with your newsletter subscription, you'll get chart setups, trade ideas, educational pieces, all sorts of things from penny stocks up to big boards. So there's a good variety of something for everybody. And best part is it's all free. So it's you got nothing to lose. It's worth at least signing up and giving it a try. We've been making some good money together. So I'd encourage you to head there and sign up for it. One more time, this was the S&P 500. Thanks for listening.